The other method is salah. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. Establish salah for my remembrance. This is also something that I don't want to talk in any detail about it at this time. I just wanted to point it out that salah is a beautiful way of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that we understand what is the salah and how, I mean, generally, according to our thought, usually salah means 5 times daily prayer. But really, if you look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life, there was salah for everything in his life. He would make wudu, there would be 2 rak'ah salah. Came to the masjid, 2 rak'ah salah. Wants to do something, 2 rak'ah salah, salatul istikhara. There is a need in his life, and who doesn't have need? Try to count our needs. Any need, he would perform 2 rak'ah salah, salatul haja. A person committed sins, 2 rak'ah salah, salatul tawbah. Came back from a journey, he would go in the masjid, perform 2 rak'ah salah. Salah for every occasion. Raining heavy, you would see him doing salah. There is a thunder, you would see him doing salah. Clouds are seeing out there, he would come and do the salah. Any hardship or difficulty, he would do salah. You just look at salah in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life. There is salah for every occasion. For us, salah is limited only for fara'id and 5 times a day. But salah was part of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life, and as I said, this is one of the extremely strong and important ways of establishing our connection with Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third thing is recitation of Quran al-Kareem. Reciting Quran al-Kareem, once again, this is also a very important method of connecting ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, establishing our connection with Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala, and establishing the remembrance of Allah in our life. Number 4, dua. Another extremely important way of establishing our connection with Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through dua. Number 5. Different adhkar that are mentioned in the Quran and Hadith. And one of them was what we talked about today in Jummah, and I'll just like to mention few more things about it as a reminder, and that is Istighfar. Seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. This is also one of the very important ways of establishing our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Istighfar. What is istighfar? Let's just try to understand this. A person had some differences with his family. A lot of family problems, they got into argument, and one of them left the house. Now, the person who was wrong, who had made the mistake in that situation and created that situation where they ended up getting into argument and then getting away from each other. For those who have strong family ties, those who have a lot of peace of mind in their family life, those who live with a lot of love in their homes and with their families, for them, this is an intolerable situation. It's not something, okay, we got into differences, we argued, so I'm going to stay out and I don't care what happens in the house, and she thinks, let him stay out and I don't care if he comes or he doesn't. In a normal life where a person has strong family ties, where a person is living with peace, with love in his house, this thing will be intolerable for this person. He cannot think about his work. His mind doesn't work at his work anymore. He doesn't have peace of mind at work. He can't even concentrate on his ibadah. He can't concentrate on anything in his life. That we are having problem at our home. And really, this is how the family life should be. Now, one of them will have to say sorry to re-establish that connection. They have to apologize to each other to establish that connection, that I'm very sorry that I did this, I said this, inshallah I won't say this again, but I'm sorry. This is what istighfar is all about. That when we committed sins, we broke our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we had that connection of love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as soon as the person commits the sin, would realize that I'm breaking my connection with my Rabb subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, by committing this sin, I broke my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I can't live with this in this situation like this. The person now won't have no peace of mind. He won't be able to concentrate. She won't be able to concentrate in anything in their lives because they broke their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, they came away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they broke that tie, that strong connection they had. They broke it by committing the sin, by backbiting, by cheating, by this haram, whatever that haram may be. Right away, the person would turn to Allah and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. Ya Allah, I'm sorry. What does this mean? That this tawbah and istighfar is to re-establish that connection that we had with Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now we turn to Allah, we say, I'm sorry, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, I'm very sorry. I did this. I'm sorry, Ya Allah. Today I misused my tongue, Ya Allah. I'm very sorry. And I know because of that, I upset you, Ya Allah, and my connection that I had with you before, that connection got even weaker, Ya Allah. I'm breaking that connection, but I don't want to do that, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, so I'm back. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Ya Allah, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me, Ya Allah. This is what istighfar means. On the other hand, what is the reaction from the other side? Many times, at a time when one of the two parties wants to say sorry, they feel like they want to say sorry. And others may even encourage them, just go and apologize. And sometimes the answer may be from this person that, okay, I will apologize, but I know what his answer is going to be. He will tell me that, get out of here. I don't care about what you're saying. I don't want to see your face. Things like this. He will turn his face away. He wouldn't talk to me. Even if I say sorry. Sometimes people say, I went and said sorry, and still he wouldn't talk to me. In this situation with Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala, now we can understand a beautiful hadith that we may have heard it many times, but now we can really understand what that hadith means when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, when a person does tawbah, turns to Allah, he seeks Allah's forgiveness, Allah is more happy with this person than a person who is having a heart attack and then his life was saved. And I will mention the whole hadith in detail, but this is the gist of it, you can say. That a person who had a heart attack and he lost hope in his life, or every family member lost hope in this person's life, then all of a sudden Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured him and he's back to normal life. How happy this person would be, how happy his family members would be. Allah is more happy with us when we say Astaghfirullah. Ya Allah, I'm sorry. Ya Allah, please forgive me. I'm very sorry, Ya Allah. I'm sorry I displeased you. I'm sorry I did this, Ya Allah. When we say this, subhanallah, imagine A person said astaghfirullah after disobeying Allah.